Yes, Old Gold. The cigarette with nearly 200 years of tobacco know-how behind it. Made by tobacco men, not medicine. Smoother, milder, tastier. Old Gold cigarette.
Tell me why it's the season, Sue, baby. It's you.
Gold, the cigarette that treats you better in every way.
Stars above know the one I love.
Because in every way, it's a better cigarette.
Sweet Sue, just you. Moon of fire, knows the reason. And you got me in the palm of your hand, but I love it.
Just you try an Old Gold, folks. Old.
Stars above. Know the one I love, and you got me in the palm of your hand, but I love it.
Poor Barbara, not for her the carefree hours of happy play, nor the busy hours of work and study. What has happened to her that she lies there so hot and feverish, so weak and dizzy, so miserable with suffering and pain? Our body is just like a little country that has been invaded by an enemy army. But the enemy in this case is not big soldiers. This invading army is so tiny that it can be seen only through a microscope. Its soldiers are the germs of communicable disease. Some of these disease-causing organisms are so small that they cannot be. As individuals and as a community, we can do many things to halt this movement of germs and prevent the spread of disease.
Here is a colorless liquid that looks like water. It has a pungent odor and a burning sweet taste. Its chemical formula is C2. As these samples of wheat and grapes are fermenting, alcohol is being produced. The raw material usually needs to be prepared for fermenting or cracking or crushing. Whatever is being used, fermentation has to take place. Fermentation is the action of yeast. Alcohol is separated from the other materials in the fermented mixture. In this case, the alcohol is made out of fermented corn mash. When the fermented mixture is heated, vapors are given off that contain products of the fermentation, including a relatively high percentage of alcohol. As the vapors cool, they change to liquid and drip from the distillery. Whiskey ordinarily contains about 43% or more of alcohol. When we compare the three kinds of beverages shown here, the black dots represent the ethyl alcohol content. The alcohol travels down the esophagus and into the stomach and the small intestine. Capillaries in the stomach lead into a branch of the portal blood vein that connects with the liver, shown at the left. These capillaries absorb alcohol directly from the stomach, and the portal vein carries to the liver. Other capillaries absorb alcohol from the small intestine, shown at the bottom. The portal vein carries so. In the liver, some of the alcohol undergoes an immediate change. Enzymes found only in the liver react with the alcohol and change it to acetic acid, presented here as white dots. This means that the alcohol burns or oxidizes, thereby releasing calories of heat energy. The acetic acid molecules and the molecules of ethyl alcohol, not acted upon immediately by the liver, pass on through the veins to the heart, shown here in the center. The more alcohol that reaches the liver at one time, the more alcohol goes on to the heart unchanged. The heart pumps this blood containing alcohol and the acetic acid into the arteries and on to all parts of the body. Whereas only the liver oxidizes pure ethyl alcohol to acetic acid, any body tissue, as for example, the tissue shown here, can oxidize acetic acid. As acetic acid, represented by the white dots, burns, heat energy is released and waste materials eliminated. Thus, the liver is the one organ of the body where oxidation of alcohol to acetic acid takes place. So, except for small amounts of alcohol that escape through the lungs and kidneys, alcohol in the bloodstream remains unchanged until it can be acted upon by the liver. As the liver oxidizes molecules of alcohol to acetic acid, other molecules return from the bloodstream. The liver oxidizes about 3/4 of an ounce of alcohol per hour until the alcohol is all oxidized. As long as there is any alcohol in the bloodstream, some of it reaches the brain. Here it acts as an anesthetic. The effects of alcohol on the human brain vary somewhat from person to person, but its main effects follow a general pattern. At first, the greatest effect is on the cerebrum, outlined here with a black border. 0.05% is about 1 ounce of undiluted alcohol in the entire bloodstream. This darkened area is the judgment center and the center for tensions and anxieties. Even small amounts of alcohol tend to deaden these centers, and because of this may provide an illusion of relaxation. This is ordinarily the situation in moderate social drinking. As the concentration of alcohol in the blood rises above 0.05%, the judgment center becomes more and more depressed. Gradually, too, the muscular control center becomes less responsive to incoming signals from nerves in all parts of the body. If the concentration of alcohol continues to increase, it finally affects a deeper center toward the base of the brain called the cerebellum. When the concentration of alcohol in the bloodstream reaches about 0.4%, unconsciousness usually occurs. 0.4% is about 8 ounces of undiluted alcohol in the entire bloodstream of an average-sized adult. Gradually, the brain and other organs are freed of the anesthetic effect of the ethyl alcohol. But even after consciousness is regained, it takes some time before the person is fully in control of his muscular. We have seen that alcohol oxidizes in the body and produces heat energy. In this respect, it is like any other food. But as a food, heat energy is all.
It's purely a muscular pump which maintains the circulation of our life's blood. The force that starts each beat lies within the heart itself, as we see in this turtle's heart. It continues to beat long after its removal from the body. The automatic rhythmic action can be noted in even a small part of heart muscle. And even after such an isolated part of the heart has ceased to beat, mechanical stimulation can produce contractions artificially. In man, the heart is a double pump. In each cycle of its action, the auricles above act as receiving chambers. The right auricle for venous blood returning from the body, poor in oxygen and containing much waste carbon dioxide. The left auricle receives purified blood through the pulmonary veins from the lungs. These chambers empty their contents into the relaxed ventricles below. The ventricles, on contracting shortly after each beat of the auricles, act as true pumps. Blood is forced from the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery to the lungs for purification, while purified blood is forced out by the left ventricle through the aorta and other arteries to all parts of the body. Note the efficient system of heart valves. As the ventricles relax after contraction, the valves of the two arteries close, preventing backflow of blood. The auricular ventricular valves open, permitting the ventricle to fill with blood from the auricles. Now contraction of the ventricle starts, and the mitral and tricuspid valves are forced shut. The contraction of the ventricles also now forces open the arterial valves, permitting free outward flow of the blood. Here we see the action of one of the heart valves. Note that fluid passes freely in one direction, but that the valves prevent its going in the other. There is one heart sound as the ventricles contract, and a second when they relax and the exit valves snap shut. Warm salt solution. Note the increased rate of beating. Now it is again normal, but carbon dioxide and adrenaline, which increase in quantity in the blood during exercise, likewise stimulate the heart to beat faster. The heart is also equipped with a brake device, a pair of nerves which, when stimulated, slow down its action. These heart movements, feature of the circulatory system is the arterial blood pressure. Unless this is kept sufficiently high, temporary or permanent damage results. If the pressure is too low to force blood to the head, fainting may occur because of inadequate oxygen supply to the brain.